Welcome, everyone. This is Melinda Russell with Women's Motorsports Network. And today, my special guest, very special guest, is Alba Colon. She is the competition system. I'm sorry, I messed that up. I'm going to start over.
It's okay.
I lost my page where I wrote it down.
It's
Oh my
okay.
gosh. There we go. We're going to start over. Hello, everyone. This is Melinda Russell with Women's Motorsports Network. And today, my special guest is Alba Colon. She is the Director of Competition Systems at Hendrick Motorsports. And I'm honored and very pleased that she took time on February 1st. And the clash is coming up, Alba. And I can't imagine that when you said yes to this, that you knew it was the week of the clash. But thank you so much for giving me some of your time today. And welcome to the show.
My pleasure, Melinda. Thank you for the opportunity. Yes, when I look at it yesterday, I was like, oh well, what was I thinking about this? But the haulers are all gone. Everybody, well, there's still a lot of work to get ready for the weekend, but no, it's my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate it very much. And so, let's start a little bit with how you got to where you are today. Because if people don't know you, I mean, I've heard your story and it's pretty impressive. But why don't you share how you got to be the director of competition at Hendrick Motorsports, and then we'll go on and talk about what kind of things are happening now. So why don't you start by telling us a little bit about your story?
No, no problem at all. So thanks for that opportunity. It all started in Puerto Rico. that's that's where I'm pretty much from, and that's where all my family still lives there. Grew up normal family, and but where STEM was something that we always talk about it, especially with my dad. He promoted that a lot. My mother, of course, promoted education at all times, but I wanted to be a mechanical engineer because I wanted to be the first female Puerto Rican astronaut. So my idol was Sally Ride, who was the first American woman to go to space. So that's what I wanted to do. I remember having a poster at my room, and that's who I wanted to emulate. So long story short, I went to the University of Puerto Rico, Mayagüez, to study engineering. But while I was being there, I got an opportunity to work on a race car project. More than a race car, it was a solar car competition here in United States. I work as part of the team, not the whole time, but at the end of the project, they needed some extra help, and I volunteer. So after that ended, a group of us decided, you know what, let's work on another race car. Let's work on another project, and that was where we started to work at the Formula SAE competition, supported by SAE International. By the way, it's sponsored by many companies. And if you look at many of the engineers that are working today at the race teams, many have come from that competition. It was a fantastic experience, not only designing and building vehicles, but it gave me the opportunity to learn other skills and what we talk about the soft skills, how to work with people, how to request money, how to market a vehicle. We were doing absolutely everything. But I came to the United States with that competition several times. And in one of those competitions, there were a couple of gentlemen from GM Motorsports that were looking to hire talent and some engineers. They hired several of them, and I got lucky enough that I was one of them. I started at GM Motorsports doing data acquisition, not only for the NASCAR team, but I got opportunity to work those first years with the NASCAR Truck Series. Also, with I did my first official race was the Rolex 24 Hours. That is not really a 24-hour event; it's like a 48-hour event by
Right.
the time that you get everything done. And I went to NHRA series for 4 years as a program manager. After that, became the program manager of the Cup Series at General Motors. And many years later, 5 years ago, I came to Hendrick Motorsports as the director of competition systems. So it just, you think about it, how you started all of this and where you wanted to be. And pretty much it worked out. They worked out the right way, not the way that I thought, but it worked out the right way at the end.
Exactly. And it's funny how our paths kind of take different, turns, and we go uphill and downhill, don't we? Because what
Yeah,
we think we want to do or what we sometimes set our minds on, God or someone has a different idea, or the people that cross your path see something in you that maybe you don't even see in yourself, and so that's one of the ways that women, I think, get to positions of influence, positions of like what you do, because you're willing to walk through those doors even if there's been no other women ahead of you, and that's pretty exciting. So
thank you.
tell me, what's your favorite thing about your job, or favorite things about your job? It'd be hard to have just one, I would think.
Yeah, I would say it's hard to have one. I really love. You have to be here just to understand the dynamic. The dynamic. Everybody in the company is working very, very hard to make sure that we have four race cars that are very competitive
Hmm.
every weekend. And believe me, I seriously believe when the driver said, "Yeah, I took the whole team, thanks to the whole team at the shop and so on." Yes, it takes the whole team. So it's just that how everybody's working together, and when those cars are getting ready and leaving it in the hall, there's always that feeling is still very exciting. I love working with people, and I have the opportunity to work with many areas in the company, not only one specific thing. So you get to meet a lot of people, not only here sponsors, but also the race fans coming here. That is always
Yeah.
fantastic, how excited they are, and by the way, how supported they are of what they do. So a little bit of all of that, getting ready for the weekend, during the weekend. So it's a little bit of everything. I think I pretty much described everything. So
Yeah. Yeah, for
it's just
sure.
it's just exciting. And one other thing that I would like to say, Melinda, this is one of the few sports, I would say, or few careers. Let's say that better like that. The few careers where if you committed a mistake on a Sunday, you only have 7 days to fix the issue, and
Mm-hmm.
and you get back to prove yourself again 7 days later. So it's fantastic from that side. But think about it. We love to win, but think about it. You lose more than what you win.
Absolutely. I
So,
just had that conversation with someone yesterday, that it's the only, probably the only sport, unless you're really bad at football or baseball, it's probably the only sport where going in that you're probably, you're most likely going to lose way more than you're going to win, because look at last year. We had what, 19 different winners,
mhm.
and so they only, most of them only won once, some of them won twice or three times, but very rare. And so if a football team only won once in a season, or twice or three times, they'd be at the bottom and nobody would want. But we don't feel that way about our drivers,
Wow,
because
I didn't think about that. I didn't think about it, but that's true. That's true.
yeah. And so you know whoever your favorite driver or drivers are, um, we know going in that if they win, five races, or like Kyle Larson won 10 races one year, that's unheard of, really. And especially now with the new car, it seems way more competitive. So um, it's a sport that fans have to be very loyal, don't they? Because
Absolutely, absolutely. Melinda, think about something, and I thought about this. 2021. I think that was 2021. Oh my goodness, all the years are becoming.
they all roll together, don't
Yeah,
they?
they all run together. That Dover competition, that Dover race, when we finished 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes.
That is that's what we work for, right?
Right.
That's what we work for, just to make
Right.
sure that all our cars finish in the top. The last time that happened, it was what, I think that 10, 20, perhaps 30 years before that. So
Right.
imagine if that is what you call a perfect week,
Yes.
and that doesn't
Yes.
happen too often. So of course, we would like that to happen a lot. But for us to have our four cars going to the playoffs, that was
Mhm.
a big, a big deal. Of course, we work hard to make sure that that's the expectation,
Yeah.
that they all go there. But of course, it would be fantastic if the four of them can go for the championship in Phoenix sometime. This year, we have two of them. But
Yeah.
once again, that's why you work for very hard to make sure those things happen.
Absolutely. And it isn't just Hendrix. I mean, we're talking to you and that's where you work, but I think that's probably the mindset at all the race shops pretty
Mhm.
much. And a lot of it has to do success has to do with resources and some of those things as well. But um, I know that once those guys get back from the race on Sunday night, Monday, or whenever they get back, do they even get a day off, and then they're right back getting ready, like you said, 7 days, or sometimes it's less than that.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's 6 or 5 days, and they're getting another car or that car ready for another race. And it's the things that they have to go through to get those cars on the track. Most people do not understand
No,
what is involved.
definitely, definitely, and that's what I said. It takes the whole company. Doesn't
Hmm.
matter what race team you are working for. It takes the whole company. I know that they worked late the last night. Today they are working. They will get a little bit of rest. Go on Friday, correct? Yes, Friday. Come back, rest a little bit on Monday, and get ready for the Daytona 500. That's the crown jewel that everybody wants to
Right.
win.
Right.
It's true that it's like any other race when we talk about points, but everybody wants to win that
Yes.
one. So those cars are getting ready. Everybody's getting ready for that. And let's be honest. Starting with this weekend, right? Yeah, it's 38 races.
Yeah.
38 races. So it's a long season. It's
Yes.
from now to pretty much November. But
Hmm.
this is what we live for. This is
Yeah.
what everybody's getting ready. Not only at this shop, at the other shops, they're all going through the same. And it's just exciting.
It is exciting, and as a fan who loves to be at the race and hear, I watch it on TV a lot because I can't always travel to the races. But when you try to explain it to someone who's maybe not a race fan, that you can't experience it on TV, you need to go to a race, and even more so, you need to go and be in the pit area, the garage area. That's where you really get the full picture of what it takes to put not just a NASCAR car, but even your local guys that run at little short tracks like Kalamazoo or wherever. They work all week, they work a job, then they work in the garage. It takes a lot to get that there. And as fans, sometimes they just show up, sit down in their seat, have a beer, and away they go. And they don't think about that. But the commitment, I think, for race teams is above and beyond maybe some other types of jobs. So, yeah, I'm so excited that the Clash is coming up. I went to it last year, my
Really?
husband and I, and it was really. I was glad I was at the first one. That
How
was
was that? How
it
was
was
that?
wonderful. It was wonderful. I only had one complaint, and that was they needed a more variety of music. It was definitely geared towards younger people, and
People.
all the people sitting around me were my age or about that age, and that's what I heard the complaint. But the excitement and watching the drivers come down those steps and the racing was really good. It really was, and so I'm excited. I think it's going to be even better this year for sure.
No, definitely. And well, I didn't think about the music, but okay, I didn't think about that. No, but I will tell you from my point of view, and some of the people that I work with here. We of course the LA market, it's exciting. It is
Hmm.
exciting, so everybody's very excited about that. It's something different. It's short track racing. We
Right.
love all of that. From my point of view, from the engineering side, is an opportunity on a non-points race to make sure all your systems are ready, to make sure that
Hmm.
because you spend all these months getting ready,
Right.
but now for 2 days, this is when you really become okay. What is working? What is not working? What do we need to improve to get ready for
Yes.
Daytona and the rest of the season? So I always have liked to have that race that is non-points first
Yeah.
to make sure everything works. And I know the distance from here, I know all of that, but to have the opportunity to have a weekend off in the middle
Yes.
between this one and Daytona, it gives an opportunity to the teams
Right.
to work. If something has to change,
Yeah.
we had an opportunity to think. So I'm excited about that. I am a little bit nervous because I have been going this whole morning about, oh, I need that. I need that. We have a list. Trust me, I have a list here.
I'm sure.
But again, it's just, and you need to roll with the punches. You can be ready, but at the end of the day, you have to react depending on what is in front of you, and you will not know that until you get there. But we have been making sure, and everybody else, to be as ready as possible. Because again, you want to win the race, definitely,
Sure.
but you want to make sure you had done a shakeup of all your systems to be ready for when the official season starts.
Yeah, for sure. And I love that it's the Clash, then it's the Super Bowl, then it's Daytona. It's like 3 weekends in a row. You couldn't have better sports things to watch, and so they all kind of mesh together for sure after all that. So when you say people call you and say, I need this," can you be a little more specific? What more exactly do you do? I know that's a whole list of things, but what would you say are the things that when they say they need something, what do you do?
No, example. So there are things that we can talk, and there are things that we cannot talk.
Okay, that's fine.
Let's be realistic about that. And everybody has a function. But let me tell you a little bit about what I will be doing this weekend and some of those items.
Okay.
Okay. So the NASCAR rules have changed some for the last several years. Of course, many rules, but one of them is that there's a restriction of how many team members per team are at the garage and at the track. In the past, you could send pretty much the whole company to the track, but
Right.
now it has been restricted. So a team like Hendrick Motorsports has the same number of people as a smaller team. So, parity and all of that is fantastic. So we have created what we call a command center or a team operations center. That's how we call it here. So how does that look like? So when you see that NASA with all those screens, that's pretty much something like that looks like. And I think
Okay.
that several years ago they showed one of them from one of our Chevy teammates. They show one of those command centers. So we stay behind with many of the engineers and other support group, and what we do is to support the teams at the track. We are open at the same time that our race teams are at the track. We provide data. We are listening, helping them with what they need, analyzing information back and forward, back and forward, back and forward. Practice, qualify them, and the race. So it's interesting because let me tell you hear what's going on at the track. You can hear our drivers, our teams. You can hear them from here. You don't get that experience of the smell and everything going on at the track, but this is as close as you can be without going to the track. So with that said, we have been working on tools that we use to support the team. Some of those tools are tools from the last year that we have tweaked to make better. Some of them are new tools, and you work on the radios, you work on making sure all those computer systems are ready. It's not only one person. There's a lot of groups here that are working on that. So you have all of that ready. But when that first car goes down the track, that's when you realize, okay, do I have everything going on? And not only that, to be sure that you have everything that you need to react and to be proactive to help the guys at the track. Remember the practices in let's talk about a normal weekend. Now practices are only 20 minutes.
Right.
It's not like in the past. Remember that used to be one practice on Friday and two on Saturday?
Yes.
No, so that doesn't exist anymore. So in 20 minutes that you get, you need to make sure that you are ready, sharp, that you know, example at the track, what they are going to make changes at, what changes they are going to make to the car, but that our tools here are working perfect and provide the information that the teams need. So There have been a lot of preparation, not only in the car, but making sure that those computer systems and everything that they need, that we can communicate directly with the track. Am I making sense, Melinda?
Yes. And it's something that I hadn't really thought of. I do remember one time during a race, they did show the command center for must have been the Chevy team. I remember seeing that. But honestly, I'd forgotten about that there's those people there. And so it, in my head, I hadn't thought of that, and I was thinking, when those cars come in and they need to, change this or change that, those guys there have to figure that out. But they have a whole team behind them, such as you and your coworkers, who are monitoring, tire pressure and all these different things, tire wear, whatever it might be, and can give them advice. And if I was the guy at the track, what a relief to know that I had all those people behind me and that I didn't have to figure that out alone. And so I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's a big deal. I was going to ask you, like, on race day, where would you be and what would you be doing? And that's what you just told me. So, do you ever go to, I'm sure you do. Do you go to the racetrack often, or you mostly stay back and monitor things?
So I mostly stay back, and once again, that has to do with the rules that have changed. Of course, with my last job, I was at the track 24/7, and believe me, if you ask me, I love the travel, I love the track 24/7. But these are the deal, these are the rules, and let's be realistic. You need the pit crew there, right? You cannot do that from here. Right. You need the mechanics. You can't mechanic that car from here. So as part of the team, you visualize what are those roles that really have to be at the track, and what are the other roles that can support 100% being here. And the engineers tend to be the ones that will support from here with no issue. Think about something. You are not only helping your team, but you can visualize what other things are going on around the track and what the competitors are doing. So you have, in this place where we have all our teams together, we can visualize and we can help each other. Yeah. So it's the beauty. I never really thought about it until I started to work more and more on this. And you realize, wow, we are as an integral part as everybody else. At the end of the day, the crew chief and that main engineer are the ones that will make the decision, mainly the crew chief. But our main job, if in a couple of words, is to provide good data for him or her to make the right decision at the track.
Right. And so, yes, I love that you brought that up, because that's something, like I said, that I hadn't really thought of. That it's comforting to know if you're the people at the track, for sure. And so I know that COVID changed a lot of things, and is that one of the things that came out of COVID, is the limited number of people at the track, or is it to make it more fair for the smaller teams?
I will say both.
Okay.
So the rule started in 2018. Yes, 2018. Okay. But when COVID came early in 2020, those numbers got very reduced, extremely reduced. And of course, we understand why. Right. Now, NASCAR has added perhaps one or two more people, but it's not the numbers that we used to have in the past, that pretty much everybody could go. At the same time, I am pro NASCAR on this. It's about parity, of course. Yes. As a team, I don't want parity. I want to be better, right? That's normal. Right. That's normal. But they want to make sure, and it's the right thing to do, that the team that is not like ours have an opportunity to produce great race cars, an opportunity to have the right number of people at the track. So we are good with that. We are good. Like I said, all of us, all the employees will want to be at the track, but the reality is you need to be in the right place to serve your team. And we provide an amazing resource every weekend, and we celebrate. We have our own winner's circle. I make sure for the guys that we have our mini winner's circle here. Nice. And we celebrate. And when it's a championship, we do we do the same because traditions are important.
Right.
But it's awesome. It's awesome, and I love it. And like I said, this is why you work for all these months just to make sure you have everything that you need. But I hate to say there will be something that you will be like, oh, I didn't think about that. Doesn't matter how many lists you have,
Right.
but think about something, Melinda. The beauty now is that everybody has the same resources.
Right.
NASCAR has open data,
Mm-hmm.
and we can see not only our data, we can see the data of other race cars. Everybody has the ability to see that.
Yeah.
It's just how you use that data and how you analyze and what you
Yeah.
do with it. So
Yeah.
that's the magic.
It is. And, I like I mean, believe me, I love your drivers. I loved some Joe Gibbs drivers. I think Ross Chastain, I just have his personality. There's some you like more than others, but um, overall, I think that as a fan and as someone who loves racing, I do want to see different winners. I want to see. I don't want to see, Kyle Busch win every race. I don't want to see, Kyle Larson win every race. And so, or a certain team. I like to see that, on any given day. I love Corey LaJoy, but he's
Mhm.
in an underfunded team basically.
Mhm.
But every time they go on the track now, he has more of a chance to win than I think he ever did in the past. And so as a fan, I like that part of it. And when you say, we have the same number of team members, I feel that's good. That's a good thing to have. And other sports only allow so many people on the roster, etc. And that's pretty much what is happening there. There's only so many people on the roster for Hendrick that can be at the race. And so there's nothing wrong with
Mhm.
trying to make it a more level playing field, if you will. So
Absolutely, but Melinda, think about something, and you just talk about Super Bowl, right? A little bit earlier. Um, some of those defensive coordinators that you see that they are like in a suite or something, right? So, and you can see them talking. You don't know what they are talking, they are saying, but you know that they are talking to somebody that is at the field.
right.
So it's pretty much things like that. It's pretty much something like that. And you said a great point. Of course, as a team, I only want that our four drivers win the 38 races, right?
Right.
That's normal. But I'm talking. I will tell you something. Me as from the individual side. An example when who was Daniel Suarez when Daniel Suarez won
Yes.
as a Hispanic. That was a big deal. That was
Sure.
a huge deal because knowing the story of that young man, everything that
Hmm.
he has worked for to get there and to
Right.
have that opportunity, him and his team to go through that is
Yeah.
something that you need to celebrate, that you should celebrate. And I will be honest with you, I texted him and I let him know I'm so proud for you. And I
Right.
even put a tweet out there
Yeah.
about it. But everybody knows I am Hendrick Motorsports, extremely faithful to my company. I want us to be number one. But individually, I was very happy to see that young man
Sure.
winning. And everybody was very happy when also Chastain won for
Yes.
the first time. Everybody loves him. The move
Yeah.
that he made in Martinsville, I think that we, as a sport, we got so many race fans that day. And to see that the next day, they were showing that just in the
On
regular TV
Oh
channels.
yeah, all over the TV channels.
We need to celebrate. Do we need to
Absolutely.
celebrate that?
And now that that's happened, now there's a new rule that you can't do that anymore.
Well,
Every time something happens, then we have to have a rule about it. But anyway, that's a whole nother conversation, I'm sure, for
but
another day.
and again, you celebrate. And the day there was a race that Corey LaJoy, as you mentioned him, he did fantastic. He did
Yeah,
really well. You celebrate that because
right.
you want everybody to succeed, Melinda. And I think that you know this. At the end of the day, we are all a family.
Yes.
If somebody's hurting, everybody hurts. It's
Uh-huh.
some and But I bet I was not the only one that said, wow, that was a cool win. That was a cool win.
It was.
Yeah, okay, celebrate that for 5 minutes. Now let's go.
Right.
Let's go and win the next one. But all the fans, there are so many fans. I love that they wear the different t-shirts.
Yeah.
Everybody, we need all of them. We need, and we celebrate all of them, so that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely we do. And you know, as a woman who supports women in motorsports, and I always say, Alba, that I celebrate the women, but I love the men too. I'm not against them, but I try to get the women a little bit more notoriety or celebrate them, and that because they have been kind of down the chain, I guess you could say, for a while. But that's changing. And as you sit in the grandstands or you go to the garage or pit area,
Mhm.
the number of women has increased. Even in the last 5 years, it has increased so much. And so I love to see that. And the young girls that I talk to, they all want to be the next NASCAR Cup champion or the sprint car champion. And so one of the things, and why I like to talk to women like you who have jobs that are not the driver, but you are a huge support part of the team. I love interviewing you because I want young girls especially to see that maybe they can't be that driver down the road. Maybe it's financial or talent or whatever it might be, but there's so many opportunities for them in motorsports or um, even jobs that support motorsports. And so that's why I ask you, how you got where you were, and that because I want girls to see that they could be the next Alba who's running a motorsports team, And so can you speak to that just a little bit about when young girls, women coming up into motorsports, and what they should do, how they should do it, and how do they get connected so that they can be doing what you're doing?
Absolutely. And I will tell you, Melinda, I don't have the secret recipe. I don't have. I think that every journey is very different. Uh, let's look at you as your journey. What you are doing is extremely important to promote more women in the sports and to promote the sport in general. So everybody has a different role. I was talking to somebody the other day. I had role models growing up, uh, role models, my mom and dad, well educated, hardworking. Those were my role models always. But I never really knew an engineer. So I wanted to be an engineer. And what I knew about engineers was something that I saw in a magazine and TV at that time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I wanted to see. But I really never met an engineering student until my senior year in high school. Yes, my senior year in high school. Thankfully, things are very different now
Right.
with social media,
Mm-hmm.
with programs like this.
Yeah.
You can see other people. You can see other people. You can identify. And I have been blessed that I have received calls and even letters of people like, that want to discuss something related and talk. And for me, uh, I see that is, let me say, how can I say that better? Okay. It's part of my job to do that and to return those calls and to have those visits. Perhaps they cannot be as long as we want,
Mm-hmm.
but to provide, to give the opportunity for others to see that, hey, there's people that looks like you that got here.
Right.
And this was my journey, and every journey is different, but this is what I will recommend or what I will advise, not recommend. Perhaps these are my lessons learned, and this is
Yes.
what we need to do. But today there's more access to
True.
information. There's
Mm-hmm.
more access, so there's no reason why not to do more research to see, and even you can find people really easy how
Yes,
to contact them,
that's true.
for us to support them. And I have been really enjoying the opportunities when I can talk to young students. Don't only have to be females or Hispanics, but to
Right.
young students. for them, because they want to understand, if I want to do a STEM career, what kind of options are out there. So
Mm-hmm.
it's an honor. There's still a lot of work to do, but I think that the students have today way more opportunities
Yes.
to reach out and to learn more about these kind of careers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that, a few years back, if you heard the word STEM, you would have no idea what it meant.
Hmm.
And now it's a fairly common term that I think most people understand
Hmm.
and and support, that we need more young people interested in those kind of careers. So I love that part. Um, so I know you're not ready to retire. You're a long way from it, but what will be your legacy? What do you want to leave motorsports when you're ready to, go sit on the beach and read a book at some point?
I don't know
Um,
if I can. I don't know if I can go and sit down in the beach and read a book for more than 2 hours. To be
yeah,
honest with
I
you.
can't. I couldn't either. I love going where it's warm because I'm in Kalamazoo and it's cold here today. But but what would you want your legacy to be?
And by the way, I love Michigan, so Kalamazoo feels fantastic right now. I am doing what I love. Do I want to do more? Absolutely. I want to do more. Sometimes I need to piece myself, but I want to make sure I left the place better. I left the place better than I found it. And I'm not talking about this place in particular. I'm talking in general about the sport. I'm talking in
Right.
general about the world. And perhaps sounds like a cliche, but I want to make sure there are more opportunities out there. And Melinda, I think that I mentioned this perhaps at the Woman in Motorsports North America, the Woman with Drive conference.
Uh huh.
But I think that I will be extremely happy the day that we do not have to have perhaps meetings like that, because equality is really out there.
Right.
It's
Right.
really out there. But in the meantime that happens, I want to serve as a role model and live as a legacy that I did the right thing and that I help others to get to the sport that they love.
Yeah.
uh, there are many people that STEM careers that can be in many ways, but I have been blessed and lucky to be able to say that I have been here. I think that is 28 years in the sport, and I want to continue supporting the sport and continue doing what I'm doing, and perhaps continue growing in the company. But at the end of the day, I want that perhaps people remember, okay, she worked hard to help others to get
Yeah.
here.
And I think you're definitely on the right track from everything that I know about you and hear from others about you. And so I appreciate that the things that you do. And I also, yeah, I've heard you speak several times at PRI and, as you said,
Mhm.
Women in Motorsports NA. And I think those are things that take time. They take time away from your job and those things, but they are so important because you never know who that one person might be that's listening, that you've changed their life. That they said, if she can do it, I can do it. And that's the thing that I try to share stories about all kinds of women, all
Mhm.
ages, all stories, because it only takes one to inspire someone else. And I like seeing women in motorsports inspire other people to be, not just in the motorsports field. It might inspire them to be an engineer for something else, but they
Absolutely.
see, yeah, some other career, but they see what you've done. And so I appreciate that you're willing to take the time with me and share your story so much.
No, thank you for the opportunity, and it's part of what we need to do. Let me tell you two quick stories that
Okay.
you never know who you're impacting. Let me say this one correctly first. I was nominated for an award, and I won it. It was the last year, but it's not about the award. What for me was, I was wondering, like, who nominated me. It took me time because they didn't want to really tell me who nominated me. Long
Hmm.
story short, I learned later that who nominated me was somebody that I made a difference on that person, and that person got their dream job that does not have anything to do with racing, but to be working on the dream company and so on, I really didn't realize what I have done for that person. And that person, we haven't talked in some time, and that person went and nominated me for this award. So it just made me think about, wow, you never know, you never
Right.
know how you're going to affect someone. So that for me was like, wow, that
Yeah.
that makes a difference. With that said, remember I told you always I my idol was Sally Ride. I
Hmm.
got the golden opportunity to meet her. I met
Really?
her. I met her, and it was an interesting way. After she was still working with NASA, I think, but she left, of course, being an astronaut, and she put together a foundation where she wanted, in this case, was parents, but in this case was, I think that was the dad, to go with young girls and a half day at a place and to listen to different women that had something to do with STEM. And I was invited. They did that in the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got an opportunity to bring a race car, and I talk about safety at that moment. We were talking about hands devices, helmets, and all that kind of stuff. So I got an opportunity to talk to young girls about that. Interesting enough, they were not so much into the race car. They were more, but again, they wanted, the ones that were there wanted to be or doctors or veterinarians or things like that. But it doesn't matter that they were not interested in the race car. They were there to learn more about STEM careers. And in
Hmm.
that opportunity, they chose three areas that they wanted to see. And I think that the fathers were the ones that really wanted to talk more about the race car. But long story short, Sally Ride put together an event like that, and she was going to different places around the country to
Wow.
give opportunity to young girls to learn more about STEM. And at one moment in your life, your father is your figure that you follow, and that is always right, correct?
Yeah.
And so it was that bringing the young girl and learning more about STEM careers. So
Right.
I got opportunity to meet her, to have a picture with her, and for me that was like a rock star.
Yes.
But it's just to see what she was doing, and that's something that I was like, wow, I want to do that someday.
Hmm.
Someday, to how can you help others to get
Right.
there? And I don't know how to explain it. It's something that is in my system right now. Something that I really want to do, but while I continue doing the job, and I think that motorsports is a great conduit
Yes.
to do something like that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing. Um, the opportunities that come that were out of the blue, really, that you weren't expecting. Did you have a chance to tell her that she was your inspiration?
No, we talked.
No.
It just was really quick. It just
Yeah.
was really quick, and she was nice. Allowed me to give her a hug. We had a picture,
Yeah.
but for me, it was like, wow, she's for real. She
Yeah.
exists.
That's
she
awesome.
she has said, and yes, I didn't get that opportunity to do that, but I think that she realized that
Yeah.
she has made a difference in
I'm
many
sure.
people. Yeah, unfortunately, of course, unfortunately, she passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but her legacy is still there. Her
It is.
legacy is still there, and she has inspired many, many young girls and
Hmm.
boys also
Right.
to to go to a space and to do things like that. So at the end of the day, like I talk about that person that nominated me. You know one thing, I inspire somebody, and
Yeah.
it's not about a nomination. It's just that person let me know about that in that way, but I inspire one person. And if you can inspire at least one
Yeah.
person to be better or to do something that they want or be in the
Hmm.
company they want or something like that, I think that you had done right.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Alba, I know you have a busy schedule. I really appreciate the time. Is there anything that I haven't asked you about or that we haven't touched on that you would like to make sure that people know about you or motorsports or women in motorsports, anything at all?
No, absolutely. Melinda, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you. And please continue doing great, all these things. I really appreciate the opportunity. Motorsports or no motorsports, I will tell you, you need to do a job that you love.
Hmm.
because we spend a lot of time working. We spend a
Yeah.
lot of time working. So whatever you love to do, you really, enjoy it. Enjoy it. Believe me, there are bad days. Okay, like
We all have
anywhere.
those.
We all have those. But I have been blessed to be in motorsports, and trust me, there are some tough days. But in general, I am blessed. I am blessed, and it took education, it took being in the right place, preparation, it took mentors, extremely important, and it took you cannot do this by yourself.
No.
You need others to help you. So be
Yeah,
open to others to help you, network, educate yourself, and we will see you here.
absolutely. Well, thank you so much. You've inspired me today
Oh,
to keep working, because there's days that I just think, oh, I just don't have the energy today to do anything. And then I see a tweet, or I here's or I, have an interview with someone, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm doing what I should be doing. This was what I was called to do. And
absolutely.
I absolutely love what I'm doing, and the people that I get to interview become friends. And so I always say, if motorsports left tomorrow and there were no more motorsports, I would still have all the friends I've made, and no one can take that away from me. And so to me, that's the biggest benefit I have from everything, is the people I've met and the friends I've made. So
You are completely right, and let me tell you, and you know this, Melinda. We are Hendrick Motorsports. We are both ties Chevys, right? But at the end of the day, we are just one family. It's the
yes,
motorsports family. It doesn't matter what team or anything. We are a family, and you will see me sometimes. I'm having dinner with others that do not have anything to do with Hendrick Motorsports or
hmm,
anything like that. Because first of all, we are friends. We
yeah,
we I think that not too many people understand what we go through when we have these kind
yeah,
of jobs, and you understand,
right.
Melinda. But we're a community, and when somebody, like I say, when somebody suffers, we all suffer, and we
That's
have been
true.
there. But
Yeah.
we celebrate too. So thank you. Please continue doing what you're doing. We need you. We need you. So don't give up. Okay, and believe me,
I'm not giving up.
there are days that we are tired.
Yes.
I have many of those,
Yes.
but it's just to keep going, and to make sure that every night when you go to bed, you know that you have done the right thing, and you have given 100% honest
Mhm.
day work. So let's do
Absolutely.
it. Well,
Well,
it's sweet.
good luck. Good luck to Hendrick Motorsports this year. I know you guys are going to have a good season for sure, and maybe we'll all get to see you finish 1, 2, 3, 4 again. I thought that was amazing. I
I
remember
was
that
so
day, as if I worked there. I remember that day. So um, I'm looking forward to an exciting season, and maybe I'll see you at the racetrack, or if not, I'm sure I'll see you somewhere along the path here again soon.
absolutely.
And stay in touch, Alba. If there's anything I can
Likewise.
do to help promote or anything, I'm always here to do that. So thank you
Thank you,
again
Melinda.
for being on the show today.
My pleasure. Okay, and hey, everybody, be safe. Take care. Okay.
Right. Bye.
Bye bye.